I think we should shift to the the baseball side of this a little bit. And this is something we've talked about on here before. Can the Phillies really afford to just like punt on even if let's say John Middleton ownership, they want to wait like a season or two to recuperate some of their losses. I think we assume that by like 2021 or 2022, fans will probably be back. Maybe even part of 2021. We don't really know, but even if they're saying, all right, we're going to wait two seasons and then start to spend money again, like can they really afford to do that with the way that this roster is built right now?
No, I mean, we've said it. I don't know. It feels like a million times at this point. The core of this team, for the most part, is in their prime, is in its prime. Those players are in their primes, and wasting years away of that core is not a smart strategy. I don't think that is really a controversial opinion. There are some younger players like Alec Boehm who could be considered part of the current core, but for the most part, you think of Harper, Hoskins, Nola, Wheeler at this point with Real Muto. It seems like maybe he's not back. You would say that portion of the team is the core who I just mentioned, and they're all up around 27, 28, 29, 30 years old, right? I mean, that's the time to win. That's the time when you have to really go all out for it because the players are at the height of their careers. And if you wait too much longer, then you're probably not going to see their better seasons. Like they're going to be in the past. And so when these players are in their primes, that's when you have to add around them and build a complete roster. So your core of players can lead you to, I'd say a championship, but in this case, just a playoff berth. Like that's what they're aiming for at this point. And if they don't add to the core, I mean, we've seen it last year, the year before. They have to add around it, or they will not make the playoffs again.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, like Reese Hoskins and Aaron Nola are free agents. They have 3 more seasons, 3 more guaranteed seasons with the Phillies. And who knows, like if they will stay beyond that. Zach Eflin, I know lower tier than those guys. He's a free agent in 2 years. Obviously, Bryce Harper's here for the next decade, but it's still not only are they in their primes, but they're not going to be here forever. You don't know that, so it's like they. The thing is, they spent all that time rebuilding, right? They spent what from 2014 on, I would say, is when they really started the rebuild, and maybe they got to a point where other teams just have prospects on prospects on prospects, just tons of them. And the Phillies might not have gotten that, but they still have a core of good players that if they build around them, they can win. And so, maybe ownership isn't pleased but with comparatively like the point that the Phillies are at after almost a decade of not making the playoffs. But at this point, it doesn't matter. You just have to go. You just have to go for it, or else if you don't go for it now, it's going to be another 2 or 3 years of mediocrity, and then they're probably going to fall off again. Like once those guys are past their primes, who is coming up? They've drafted well over the past couple of years, but that doesn't all manifest itself right away. So it's not like they have reinforcements coming within the next couple of years. Like they have to take the opportunity they have, and I know they're in a tough division and all that, and obviously a championship is never guaranteed or anything, no matter how far you go for it, especially with so many other really good teams. But like they just have to go for it. I don't really know what else to say because they have really really good players, and they don't have a ton of them, but they have enough, and they just need like adequate pieces to surround them with.
Yeah, I mean, as the Phillies' own owner has said before, if you're not in it to win, then you shouldn't be owning a sports team. And they have not the perfect chance to win, but it's good enough. So you have to add the pieces around it to actually go in. And if you're not going to do that, then as you said yourself, why are you in the business of owning a sports team?
Yeah, yeah, and it's also too like when they acquired JT Realmuto, that was them kind of signaling like, all right, the window is now, right? They traded Sixto Sanchez. They signed McCutchen. They traded for Segura. All these moves. That was to say, all right, we're going to try and win now. And then, talking about the past now, but last year to not be willing to dip into the luxury tax to pay like 2 relievers that would have made all the difference if they spent $10 or $15 million on relievers last year, and that cost them a playoff spot. I don't think that can really be denied. Is little things like that, and now it's a bigger scale because I don't know what you think. It definitely doesn't look like they're going to even spend near the luxury tax this year, based on all the reports and everything. Like if they're not willing to re-sign Realmuto, they could probably do it and make a couple other moves and still be like 15 million below. Like I don't really know what this offseason.
Yeah, it's tough to know what this is going to look like. I mean, the only team that's really signing anybody at this point is the Phillies, a division rival in the Atlanta Braves, and they've signed 2 former Phillies who have both kind of revived their careers with the Phillies and then go somewhere else and become really good in Drew Smyly and Charlie Morton. Now, it's not exactly the same parallel, but it's kind of close, a little bit of similarities there, I think, as I said on this podcast before. But they're the only team really going out and spending, and they're spending some money as of now. Now, they also in the past have gotten these early moves done and then not really done much the rest of the offseason. But other than that, the Phillies haven't signed anyone. They are apparently in the works of looking at executives right now.
Who's going? The winter meetings. The winter meetings are in 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. Who's making the decisions at the winter meetings for the Phillies? Like, is it Ned Rice? We don't know. Who's it going to be? Like this is the time that the offseason takes place, and I know maybe things are going to be pushed back because universally, like owners are just going to say, all right, until we know how much money we're making, until we know if fans are going to be allowed and all that, and the vaccine and all those things. The offseason might lag on, but still, like the Phillies signed Wheeler and Gregorius in December. They signed McCutchen in September or December. Sorry, they traded Carlos Santana in December. Like this is when the moves are made, and no one. I could not tell you what possible moves the Phillies are going to make. I cannot tell you who they're going to hire, if they're going to hire someone, who's going to be making any of those decisions. And it's been 2 months since Klentak stepped down. It's not like they haven't had time to consider these things.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess with all our questions, it could be described as directionless, as I think you wrote about over at Phillies Nation. Everyone should go check that out. It feels directionless right now, and it's kind of a crazy thing to think of in comparison to just we're 2 seasons removed from one of the greatest off seasons in team history, and it felt like they were on the rise and had a plan. They were building a nice core centered around a superstar, and we're still with the Phillies we're seeing a similar spot. They're still at that spot, but like they needed 2 years ago, there has to be pieces put around that core. And in the 2 seasons since they signed Harper and made all those other moves, that hasn't really happened. And now it seems like, they've added Wheeler since, which was a good move there. But they're also losing Realmuto, and, they haven't added the right depth pieces and the right supporting cast up to this point. And who knows if they're going to, because I certainly do not.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think what else can we really say about where the Phillies are? I know for fans to listen to, it's probably a little bit depressing, but this is how things are right now. Thank you for watching this clip of the Phillies Nation podcast. You can subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts, and always stay up to date on everything pertaining to the Phillies on PhilliesNation.com.